Hey guys, welcome back to American Adventure. In today's episode, we'll be working on the next land over next to Victory Field, which would be called Bountiful Farms. And so this area is dedicated to the American farming industry and other things of farm related. So this is more of my calmer area. This is more focused, probably more for kids than your Victory Field, which is more thrill intense because of the dueling coaster, and then the western area is also more thrill based as well because of the coaster. So this was the perfect spot to build the junior coaster because I did have the junior coaster in mind this entire time to have in my park, because I feel like every theme park should have a junior coaster of some sort. So I felt like it would fit better here in this farm type theming, and I also wanted to try something completely different in theming. So doing a farm theme is completely out of my comfort zone and not really in my wheelhouse, so I wanted to try something completely different. And from there, we'll see how this goes. I think it actually looks okay. This is going to probably be a two-parter episode about Bountiful Farms, because there's a dark ride that will be added to this park, in this land as well. So in front right now is a barn that is your centerpiece of the land, which is the station for the junior coaster. And the ride is just going to be called Barnstormer, because I can't think of anything else, because I think Barnstormer works just as fine. So why reinvent the wheel with a different type of name? Might as well just steal it from Disney. So I'm just going to steal it from Disney. So it's Barnstormer, and that's it. So barns, kind of straightforward. They're kind of like giant boxes with this interesting type of step roofing. And then I made a little building on the outcrop to kind of give it a more rectangular look. So I don't think doing just rectangle buildings and square buildings are kind of interesting looking, so I kind of want to chop that up. So I make that little building off to the side at a different color, and then it goes from there. Border work as usual to outline the edges of the building to give it that definition. And then I added a sliding door mechanism in the front to kind of suggest that these two giant barn doors slide open and close if the ride's open or not. So kind of what I did there. The little fenced area, supposedly supposed to be where pigs would go, like maybe a petting zoo, but not really sure. Just kind of works with the barn. Yeah, nothing really insightful here, except for just tons of border work, and then the two silos in the back. The two plots of fields that you see at the bottom of the screen are going to be basically just fields of I think strawberries, but not like in season. And then the one that's even farther out would probably be wheat. I do want to build a cornfield, but I think I'm running out of room in this land, because this land's not supposed to be that giant. It's supposed to be your kiddie land in a way, so it's smaller in general. So I kind of put myself in a corner in a weird way, but I'm working what I got, because I made the map pretty large to begin with. And Victory Field and Liberty Street really take up a lot of space. And so does Great Frontier. That took up a lot of space as well. Yikes. It works so far. I like how the park's turning out. There's no necessarily like big regrets yet. Not yet. I mean, the park's growing significantly. This project already is taking longer than Astroland. That was a very short project apparently, and this one's taking even longer. And finding inspiration for a farm theme has been quite difficult actually. So yeah, it's an interesting theme to go with, but the things I'm pulling for inspiration for this land is California Adventure. So Disney's California Adventure had a farming area called Bountiful Valley Farms, so I took the valley off because I think that's too long of a name. So Bountiful Valley Farms was kind of the showcase of California California farming in a way. So they showed giant tractors from the company Cat, which is Caterpillar, I think. Regardless, I don't know tractor companies. So they had tractors. They had a sprinkler like fountain park for kids to run through, so like a little sprinkler system. Then they had signage everywhere about different types of plants and fields, and so I pulled a lot of inspirations from that, so I had to go pull up pictures off of Google. And then when they did the change to Flick's Funfair, they changed it a little bit, and then they finally got rid of it after they installed Cars Land. Now, all of Bountiful Valley Farms is gone now, actually, at this point, because everything's now changed to Avengers Campus. Oh wow, yeah, there's nothing left. Not even Bugs Land is gone now too. Wow, things changed at Disney quite quickly. I should be talking about what's on the screen right now, because I'm just rambling. Here is the Farmer's Market, which is going to be our restaurants for this land, because I feel like every land needs a restaurant to kind of congregate to, and to get some refreshments or some food for lunch or dinner. So this building's based off of some LA buildings, in a way. So it's a giant warehouse. So this may be like some type of manufacturing food warehouse that manufactures a food into a canned item, or it's packaging some type of food. So it could either be grain to meats to vegetables. Who knows, but it kind of works for this area. So I went, as you trek into the land, it gets more industrial a little bit, but I don't want to make it too industrial that I overshadow what's later going to be my industrial city, which is my New York area. So I need to keep away from making it too industrial, but I wanted to maybe sprinkle in some more California into this, because again, I'm pulling a lot of references from California Adventure, because I think California Adventure right now is the closest park we have to an American themed theme park that Disney wanted. So it's very close, and a lot of ideas I think were pulled from Disney's America into California Adventure. So I might be wrong, but there's a lot of similarities to their theming. So yeah, that's kind of how this is basically how I put this together, on pulling different things from different places. Knott's Berry Farm also is a big influence on this entire park as well, because that's very American focused as well. So it's great to go look at different parks and things like that to get inspiration from. So this building, I think the farmer's market houses a burger stand. I don't remember. I built this a while ago. Yeah, I'm just doing some different type of styling of roofing, just kind of stacking different type of towers. It's not a tower, it's like more just a roof outlet, maybe for ventilation. And then border work as well. Nothing too crazy. I've come to the realization that doing overhanging roofs kind of look funny sometimes in Parkitect, so I'm going to stay away from it. But outlining the borders really help your buildings. So borders should be your friend. You should be literally using them everywhere. For custom supporting, custom lines and roads, just use borders. Borders are just the way to go. If you want to get fancy, you could use shapes, but that just requires tons of it. But you could if you wanted to, like I did with the front of the awning of Farmer's Market. It's all spheres, not spheres, sorry, cylinders that kind of give it that curved look. So I did do overhanging roofs with the hanger pieces. They're square little tips. I do like those better. I think they give it more industrial look. I did some backstage trail, like a backstage pathway for employees, and some retaining wall for the terrain. Nothing nothing interesting back there. It's just more backstage stuff. This land kind of went into some different. I don't know. It was just more difficult to work on this land than say Victory Field and then Great Frontier. They were a little different. On top of that building, I just used the new pyramid pieces from the Adventure Pack to give it that triangle. Oh, what's that triangle piece on top of buildings? Like it's a vent. That's what it is. It's a vent. So I did a triangle pyramid. And it's because it's shiny. It kind of matches the metal, so I actually used that. I did some gutter work actually too. Yeah, I think adding gutter work to your buildings gives some more realism. And then added some trees inside the plaza to give it some more life, especially with the new trees. The new trees we got. And then some planters in front to give it some more decoration. Because it's supposed to be a farmer's market, so just imagine like the inside is like it's fully decorated with different types of food venues and things like that. Kind of imitating LA. That was kind of the objective, kind of the feel. Some over here is just some more junk to kind of decorate the pathways, because I feel like when you add junk and stuff, and boxes and barrels, and maybe other things, bushes, to your paths, make it a little bit more rustic, more realistic, and not clean cut. Because this game does have this issue of being clean cut, and I want to make things a little bit rugged. Because it is supposed to be a theme park that's been open a while, right? Like maybe a couple of years, and it's been in operation, so I want to make it a little rugged. That's why I do the pathways with different tones of brown, because I make it look like it's been worn down. This building up right here we're working on is somewhat of a gazebo. This gazebo is completely being copied from Disney's Comic Adventure, because there was a pin shop that was in front of Bountiful Valley Farms that kind of looked like this. And I think it worked really well as my entrance to the land, because I felt like the transition between Victory Field to the farm was kind of lackluster, so I wanted something to kind of draw the guests in from the pathway instead of the barn, because the barn's actually set pretty far back into the land, and it's kind of covered by trees, which is on purpose because the trees are covering up the sight lines from Soarin' Over America, so I want to keep that completely full of trees. So I want to make it a hexagonal shape building. If that's even a word, probably not, but yeah, you get the idea. It's hexagonic in shape. It kind of works, kind of doesn't. Yeah. So I was trying to test out some roof shape pieces for. Well, I was using shapes to make a hexagon shaped roof, but that didn't work out because the shapes are kind of wonky. Not wonky. They don't line up perfectly. Because we need some other pieces that would fill in the gaps in between, but it's okay. I just switched off to do a regular roofing that kind of just goes as over edge, and then it kind of worked out better in this way. It actually looks a little bit more cleaner than the. I don't like when shapes cut through each other. I think that actually really doesn't look nice or clean at all. So I want clean lines that connect to each other, and then it goes from there. So this is so far how the roof should be, and then I'm changing the walls to more of the. I don't know what you call these walls. These walls are like the corners have been cut off. I don't know if they're called actually. I think they're just called corner walls still in the game. They don't have really a name, so I kind of just did that here to kind of match the roof, and then did some outlining with the red. I want to make this building a little bit more festive in its colors, and a little bit more, yeah, just more festive. Just to make it more bright and engaging for the guests to walk in. This is a souvenir shop, by the way, so it has all the cool souvenirs that you would have in a theme park. So it's kind of your go-to gift shop for the land. I mean, every land should have a gift shop of some sort. I don't have a gift shop for Victory Field, I just realized. Where would that go? Well, we're thinking about maybe some changes in the landscape. That's later. I know that Great Frontier has a gift shop of some sort somewhere. Does Liberty? Liberty has a gift shop, I think, too. I have to double check because I think a gift shop should be in almost every land because they should have items or merchandise of that land's theme. So you kind of go from there. Did some path planning a little bit, some lamps building, and then did some domers in the middle of the roofs, and then added this little window that's kind of just make it look smaller. Kind of had to hand place that myself because that was the yeah, that's the fun part, doing it by hand instead of using the grid. I made that roof wrong, that window wrong. Watch one, fix it right now. There, I fixed it. There, fixed. Doors, green doors, I think work well. This little thing right here with the shapes, I tried something cool to add some like color border at the bottom without using a wall. I wanted to see if I could use shapes, and it actually worked out pretty well. Yeah, and then I did some diagonals because now we have diagonals now. It actually worked out really well in its nature. So it's been cool figuring out some new stuff to do with the new shapes and things like that, and some of the new items that we got from Booms and Blooms, especially the trees. The trees are what make this land even more alive with its farm theme, so I do like that and where it goes. So let's see here. Barnstormer got a sign. It was very, very simple. It was just Barnstormer with a circle in the center and then a wagon wheel and a cow head. It was just really dumb. I might change it later because it's not really that great. But on to doing some detailing on pathways again. And so that's kind of the gist of the land so far. We do have a couple more details to work on. Like in the next section of this video, we're going to be working on 2 vehicles, because you need vehicles to work on your farm. So you need a truck or a tractor or some type of like farming equipment. I need to go research some farming equipment anyway. But first things first right now is to build the sign to Bountiful Farms. So this sign's a little different because it's not going to be like off the side of the path and kind of just directing people into this land. I felt like it would make more sense to put it on top of the building, like down California Metro, which is that little building that I talked about earlier. What I'm copying is basically this, and so that's what I'm going to do. And I'm going to use these. What is this? This piece is not a trellis. It's like a diamond pattern of it's like a piece of wood, right? I don't know what I would call it. I forgot what piece that was called. Regardless, I don't use this piece very often. I used it in the beginning of the crossroads as it looks like a fish netting, kind of. It kind of looks like fish netting if you mess with it a little bit and add some theme fish buoys and stuff like that. But I used this as the backdrop of that sign and then went from there. Oh, this here is fixing a shape problem in the corner. I give up on that. I work on that later, actually off camera, so that will be fixed later. Just trying to fix the sign here. I use the new, well, not new, it's the same text signs that we have, but we have now fonts now in the game, because I think Sebastian added that feature free later on, and then that has we have 10 different fonts now. It's actually really nice. So this is your fantasy font, and I felt like that was the perfect fit for this farmland or Bountiful Farm, so I kind of went for that. The S needs to be added on the farm later because I changed the name a little bit. I think saying farm sounds better than saying farm because it's multiple farms of product. Doing some still doing some path decoration. Here's my trusty skeleton prop for doing scaling for vehicles or buildings in general. So this is where I start working on the tractor. Now this tractor is designed for from the 1950s, so kind of what I'm aiming for. This land doesn't have to be that direct with the time period that I chose it for, but it's kind of a guideline in helping on doing the style of the buildings and the style of the tractors or vehicles that I'm working on. So that's kind of why I make a time period, kind of helps out. I know that Victory Field is a little bit newer, and yeah, I think it's 1960s. Yeah, and then I think we have 1800s is the Great Frontier, and then if we go to Boston Harbor is the 1700s. Same thing with Liberty Street. So yeah, I kind of want to make things in their own time zones, time periods. So this is where we do the most accurate of Construction Anarchy stuff. Is the 0.01. This is where I can get more accurate details on all things vehicles. So I've been having some fun making some vehicles as of late. I made what vehicles did I make? Oh yeah, I made the Razor Crest from Mandalorian recently. That's on the workshop. And then I'm building a tractor, building a 1950s pickup truck, and just doing all this little vehicle stuff. I'm going to do more vehicles for this land. I just thought about making some fuel trucks for Victory Field, so I will probably build that later. So the front of the grill of my tractor. I should explain some of the parts here. Are the cable brackets from the sci-fi set. It's because they're shiny and they have that little line in it. It actually works out really well to make it like a grill. Most of the truck is made of all custom, all normal shapes, so cylinders to squares to discs. The lights are the new ride lights that we got from Booms and Blooms free DLC, the free update. So I use those. They can attach themselves to surfaces like the effects now, so it kind of works out. They don't really make light; they just light up when it turns night. I think it worked out really well. And then some pipes to give it some like industrial truck stuff, or just exhaust if you want to look at it like that. Yeah, the exhaust. I tried to use some chocolate bars here, but chocolate bars don't really go that small in size, so it's kind of hard to use them, but it's pretty okay. This tractor's actually I think almost done. Yeah, some detailing with some hay, some dirt mounds to give it some dirts everywhere. I think I work on next. Oh yeah, I was going to test something with the texts. Yeah, with some of the. Yeah, I was trying to do a hubcap, not a hubcap, a what was the thing? Oh, I can't describe it. It's okay. Something that goes over the wheel that protects the driver. I tried to do that, but I didn't get to do it, so it's okay. I did. Oh yeah, I did a pipe for the wheel. Actually worked out, and then a little disc for the seat. And I think the tractor's basically done. There's really nothing to it. And then onto the 1950s pickup truck. So I built this off into a other area so I can have full range of looking at it instead of it being kind of confined in its space where it's going to later be put. So I think it's wise to either find a bigger area to work on a prop, then blueprint it, and then bring it into the area you want it to. Now keep in mind when you build things by themselves as a prop, try to form it to the grid. So that's why I made an outline of the borders. So I outlined where two square units would be. I placed down where my vehicle is going to sit, and then I build the vehicle, and then I'm going to delete those borders and then blueprint it. So it makes it easier to kind of, drag it around and plop it anywhere you want. So I'm probably plop this vehicle more than once at different colors. Give it that, oh, there's multiple vehicles here that work at this farm. So that was kind of the philosophy of doing the border outline. And it also makes it easier to build paths around it if it's to the grid. Because I could easily have built this off of made this like half grid or something, or maybe even, if I was ambitious, make this a diagonal vehicle, but that probably wasn't going to happen. So the shapes and pieces I'm using here, so your normal basic shapes, and then I use some candy pieces. So the peppermint pieces are your hubcaps. The heart candy is the front of the vehicle's like engine. Yeah, the engine hood, and I kind of made it that triangular piece, kind of copying some of the old-fashioned vehicles from the 1950s. I had some reference pictures and stuff like that. And then I just kind of worked on making it look like a truck. Now, trying to cover up that little moon crescent was the difficult part, because it is a candy piece. I want to get rid of it. I used some peppermint pieces for making the covers for the wheels, and then I just kind of worked from there. This vehicle is to scale to most of the guests. I want to try to make them to scale. The back where the flatbed of the truck would be, I used the doorway and the doorway wall piece. It's the smallest wall we have actually, versus the half wall. This is like even, yeah, smaller than a half. Like it's like even like probably a quarter, even less than a quarter probably. Some cylinders out in front for the headlamps later. I try to work on a grill. That comes later after I figure out that I can make the heart shape smaller. And then offset some square cubes for windows at a bluish tint. And then some lights with the new bulb pieces we got. And then we need to finish the top of the roof to make it more rounded, so I just did cylinders and squares. And they kind of worked out really well right there, actually. And it looks pretty close to a 1960s style truck. I don't know what brand this truck is. I'm not a car guy, so I don't know anything. I just kind of copy references from my research time, so that's all kind of what I do. I try to do something with the hanger pieces here, but oh yeah, I do. They just become our little fences or little like guards on top of the flatbed and make them brown in color, like they're made of wood or something. So kind of worked out. I like the different colors and things that pull away from it. But yeah, these are black wall tires, so it's kind of your 1950s look. That has a whole bunch of cylinders in it and discs. Hand placed because I want to make sure that they just cut through themselves, that they don't bleed or Z-fight. So that's kind of the objective, is to make sure that these vehicles look as legit as possible. And then I try to do, I say I try. I put in some rear view mirrors because the car needs to have rear view mirrors on it. You need to see what's behind you. And then some cues to give you an impression there's license plates on the vehicle, because it is a American farm, so you need your license plates on all your vehicles because you need to register them. I tried to build a door for the back of the truck, but I felt like that would have made it too boxy, so I left it open. So later I'm going to fill it with some items, and then once I transfer it over, which is very soon, I'm going to blueprint it, transfer it over, and then fill it with some items in back, like hay and barrels. And then, yeah, this is so far the episode. We're going to be go over to the Alive view, and I'll explain some other future updates for this land. And yeah, this is going to sit exactly in front of Farmer's Market, where it's going to sit. It looks great. So yeah, I will meet you in the live view. Okay, here we are in Bountiful Farms. I was going to say Bountiful Valley Farms, but again, this is just my Bountiful Farms. And I'm going to give you a tour of what I worked on and some of the things that will be changing, maybe, and some other like additions that will still continue. This land's not done yet. This land's going to take a little bit longer to kind of build, but I'll show you. Let's first start out with the transition between Victory Field and then to Bountiful Farms, and we'll go from there. So here's Victory Field. You can see that there's some differences here and some additions like these oil spots that I made. I go back into my old lands and kind of just, freshen them up a little bit because there's new pieces that I can use in some places. But as the transition is still dirt path, and then our transition is basically here between these two different fences. That's usually a transition point between two different fences. Then here's the first building we get is a Bountiful Farms, is the gift shop, where you get all your nice souvenirs, and then here's our wonderful little tractor up in front. I think this looks wonderful, how it sits, and then some flags for like America, because it's a celebration. Here are the said two farms. This is a wheat farm, and this one over here is a strawberry farm without the strawberries. I was going to do strawberry props, but they're gigantic, so that's not going to happen. But here's a little scarecrow that I made for both plots to kind of make it a bit more realistic. These do take up a lot of land, but I think it's necessary to kind of showcase farms and stuff like that. So I might have to build one more plot of farmland like sooner or later somewhere else. We'll see. Over here is a Dodgems or bumper cars that just kind of is a additional ride that needs to be in this place. So it's kind of like your, maybe we can call it like a dance party or something, or like a rodeo, or the dance rodeo or something, like it's a dance celebration of farming. I don't know, something like. I'm just brainstorming right now, but I think that would work actually if I made a sign on top of here. That'd be cool. Here's Barnstormer. Here's the wonderful simple sign. Very simple, nothing like crazy. Nothing. I think it looks boring. I need to maybe either freshen up, but it was kind of a quick thing to make up. So here's our junior coaster. It's kind of just, it's a very simple junior coaster thing, junior coaster type of thing. So we just lots of helixes, loops, and stuff, and goes around itself. And so I felt like adding a whole bunch of trees in kind of makes it, I don't know, it kind of go swoop through the trees. I was gonna make it go over farmland, but I thought that was kind of boring, so this is how it sits. And then at the touch of realism, I had a storage house that stores the trains, and then here's our transfer track. So this S-bend will go down and then connect, and so the train will stop here and go backwards into the shed. And then it back into the barn. There's Barnstormer. Now over here is Farmer's Market, which is going to be our food facilities for the area, which is very important. And here's our green little truck. I do love this little truck. I'm going to repaint it to like a blue or a red later, and maybe make another one somewhere else. Maybe make the back a box, so that maybe it's like a refrigerator truck or something that holds like fresh meats or something, or eggs. Something like that, that'd be cool. And then this is the restrooms, and then this is where the things get tricky. So this plot of land, this brown spot, is supposed to be a dark ride. Now, it's quite large, so I might have to scale it down, but this is supposed to be my boat dark ride, which is supposed to be either themed around some type of farming theme. Either Old MacDonald Had a Farm, like a musical ride, okay, so like Small World. Or something like it's an educational ride where it tells you the process of how wheat's made, or the process of how food is produced in America, or something. I just don't know what to pick yet, and then I need to go from there and then build at least, hopefully, 7 scenes around this theme, and then I can build a dark ride. So this will be my first legit designing of a dark ride. So that's why this area back here is completely open, so I can do something with it. So we'll see you there. So all in all, this is basically all of Bountiful Farms. I do like how it's heading out. It is going to be a weird land where it's kind of bottlenecks in the back here, which you don't want to do that to a land, but really have no choice. Kind of how things are ironing themselves out. But yeah, upcoming projects are redesigning the theater for Soaring Over America. I want to actually do some proper fake theater inside with like some giant screen, and then maybe 4 simulators to kind of outfit it. And then I want to maybe cut out this wall so you can see the details inside. I kind of just, like I did with the theater for Independence Hall. So that was kind of the idea here. And then I also discussed earlier that I want to build a fuel truck, and I think the fuel truck would work right here as maybe a soda stand or something. So maybe instead of its fuel, it's giving you drinks. So it's kind of like a in between the restaurant up to the other main restaurant. So I think that a snack stand of some sort would actually fit better here, so I might do that. And then I also thought about, this needs a proper sign that says this is a restaurant, because right now it doesn't look like a restaurant. So I need a sign that says like Pilot's Grill or Pilot's Landing or something that would say that this is a restaurant, because there's hot dogs in here and stuff like that. So those are the other few little projects that I have in mind for American Adventure and other things like that. I go back to my other lands and I kind of like spruce them up a little bit and things like that. So yeah, I'm gonna wrap it up here. I hope you guys liked this episode of American Adventure. Sorry, this one took a while. I've been busy with some real life things, so I've been kind of busy. So hopefully this week I have a week off from work, and maybe I can pump out maybe 2 episodes of a Coaster Bee build challenge, and maybe another episode of American Adventure, or maybe a Parkitect University. Who knows? But I will catch you guys in the next episode. So yeah, bye.